Hi everyone, as most of you know, I love experimenting with food in resin, and it all started over 5 years ago when I did the M&Ms. Now since then, I've done the pickle, the potato chip, the strawberry, the grape, the egg, the banana, the Oreo, coffee beans, jelly beans. I've also done an orange, an apple, a mushroom, and let's not forget my latest one, the bacon. Now after doing all these foods, there is one that you guys keep asking for, and that's a pumpkin. Now since it's Halloween, I figured it's the perfect time to show you this video, but it is currently late July, and that's because, as you guys know, towards the end of the video, I like to give you guys an update to see how the food's looking, so that gives us 3 months to see if there's any changes. Now with it being July, it's given me a bit of a problem. This is the only pumpkin I could find. It's a butternut pumpkin. Now I know this isn't your traditional Halloween pumpkin, but I still think this one should be big enough for me to cut it open and carve it out, which will also be really interesting since I've never done it before. Now before I start carving any pumpkins, the first thing I need to do is take my 5-litre bucket and pour myself a base layer. Now I do have plans to turn this into a jack-o'-lantern, so for this base layer, I'm going to make it black. Now I'm just going to leave this to cure. While that base is curing, I'm going to start carving my pumpkin. Now I did watch a couple of videos on how to do this, so I got myself a good range of knives and a couple of spoons. Got it. Kinda. Slippery little sucker. I can see the seeds in there, so I just need to cut more of this out and then get to the seeds. I wonder if the emergency department gets busier around Halloween. Everyone coming in with knife cuts. So I've now finished hollowing it out. I've also done a little bit on the lid here, and as you can see, it's a little bit shorter than it was before, and that's because it didn't quite fit in the container. And now he just looks like Mr. Potato Head. So my next step is to cut out the eyes, the nose and the mouth, but before I do that, I'm going to draw it on so hopefully I don't stuff it up. That looks alright. mouth was a bit tricky, but I think it looks pretty good. I think although this pumpkin's small, I reckon it still looks alright. I think I need to show Nicole. Let's see what she thinks. What do you reckon?
Oh, it looks cute.
It's cool, eh?
Yeah.
Looks like Mr. Potato Head.
He does, doesn't he?
I carved a bit of the top out as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, hopefully the lid doesn't float.
Oh, let's hope not. Hello, it's Ben from the future. I just wanted to quickly interrupt this video to let you guys know that if you happen to have missed Wednesday's video, you would have missed the announcement of our massive sale. We currently have 20% off everything in the Etsy store, and as an added bonus, we're randomly adding gifts into people's orders. Now if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. So now that I've finished working on the pumpkin, it's time to continue working on the base. Now the next thing I need to do with this is drill a hole in the side and a hole in the top so I can feed in this cable. Before I go ahead and wire in this LED, I need to glue the pumpkin down, because as we've seen in past episodes, food can have a tendency to float. So I'm going to take some 5-minute epoxy and make sure this little fella stays down. So now that I have the LED in, it's time to put the top on. Now I am a bit worried that that's going to float, so I'm going to secure it down with some toothpicks and 5-minute epoxy. After seeing how hard it was to get those toothpicks in, I decided I didn't need any 5-minute epoxy. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite me. Now there is one last thing I have to do before I start mixing some resin, and that's seal up this hole. I'm just going to do that with some hot glue. Well, I've got to be honest, I'm a little worried that this pumpkin's going to float once I start putting in the resin. So I think what I might do is leave it 24 hours, so that way the 5-minute epoxy we put down will be fully set. So it's now the next day and it's time to pour our resin. Now because we need a lot of it, I'll be using a deep casting resin, and I'll be mixing it in this 10-litre bucket. Now even though I'm using a stick mixer to mix this, you're still going to need to scrape down your sides. Now that I've finished mixing, I'm going to let this sit for a couple of hours just to allow time for these bubbles to disappear. Now we just need to leave this to cure. Well, it's now the next day, and as you can see, we got a few air bubbles. They come out of the nose and out of the eye. Now they're not too bad, but I guess it's to be expected when you're casting food inside of resin, and even more so when your food is a hollowed out pumpkin. Now I do have a solution for this, but I will have to wait. I need this resin to fully cure so I can pop it out of the mold, and then we can fix it. I better show you guys what it looks like now, just in case it changes over the next couple of days. You can already see a bit of the pumpkin coming away from the resin at the top there. Had a bit of a resin spill here. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. We'll check back in a few days. So it's now been a few days, and as you can see, the pumpkin has shrunk even more. Now it's going to be really interesting to see how it looks after 3 months. Now the next thing I'm going to do is pop this out of the container so I can have a closer look at these bubbles and decide what I'm going to do. This isn't going to be easy. I think we got it. Look at that. That looks cool as. So after having a closer look at these bubbles, it looks like none of them are going to affect the pumpkin inside because they all seem to be sealed up. So I think I might actually leave them. I was thinking about putting this on the lathe and turning it down to get rid of them, but I think that could be a bit tricky considering I've got this cable to deal with. So I think it might be best just to leave them and see how it goes. Now there is one thing I am nervous about, and that is whether my light still works. So I think we need to plug it in and check it out. Oh wow, it does. How cool is that? I think I need to turn the lights off. Wow, that looks so cool. It's a bit hard to see with this camera, but nearly the whole pumpkin is lit up. I might try and film it on my phone. So this is what you guys are seeing, and this is how it looks. Look at that. The whole pumpkin is lit up. That looks so cool. Wow, I love it. So I think what we have to do now is have a good look at this pumpkin so we have something to compare it to in 3 months' time. Well, now that we've had a good look, I'm going to put this in the corner of my workshop and check on it in 3 months. But you guys don't have to wait that long. because you're going to see it right now. Well, it's now the end of October and it's time to take a look. But before we do, I just wanted to let you guys know that over the past couple of months, I've had a ton of messages telling me that preserving a pumpkin in resin just can't be done. They reckon it's just going to turn to mush. Now, a few other creators have tried and haven't had much success. So let's take a look at mine and see how I did. Check it out. How good does this look? It looks absolutely amazing. It looks pretty much just as good as the day I put it in there. Now, we did start to get a bit of a bubble layer on the sides here, but that stopped after a month and it hasn't changed since. Now, considering that this is a whole pumpkin that's been carved out, I think it looks bloody unreal. Now, even though it's only been 3 months, I think it's safe to say that nothing else is going to happen, considering how well my banana and my strawberry looks after 2 years. Now, there is one thing I have been stressing about over the last 3 months, and that is whether or not the light that I put inside is still going to work. So I'm going to turn my workshop lights off, plug it in, and give it a go. Okay, here goes. Oh yes! Look at that! That looks so cool. Oh, I love it. Well guys, what do you think? Did I do a good job? Let me know by hitting the like button. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Now don't forget, if you guys are chasing a gift for a special someone, we currently have 20% off in our Etsy store. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.